Guys, this should have been a week of pure video game celebration.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
Assassin's Creed Unity,
Creed
the
Rogue.
first next-gen Assassin's Creed game, 4-player co-op, new consoles, insane, dense crowds, Halo Master Chief Collection, the return of Halo 2, Halo 1 online for the first time ever, get back with your old crew from 10 years ago, have a good time. And those things are all here and they're happening, but they're being there's some dark clouds in the sky that are just dropping some rain on what should be a beautiful sunny picnic day because of some significant launch issues with both of these games. And this comes on the back of we've had some Call of Duty issues.
That's still happening, by the way.
Still ongoing lag, right? It's a lag problem.
Yeah. When does this podcast go up?
Tonight. I mean,
Tonight.
Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So video might be later, but
the only system that has not been patched as of now is the Xbox 360, and that goes live at 1 a.m. to
Thursday.
So in like several
late
hours
tonight.
from now.
Tonight.
Yeah, and then you know, it's not an Xbox game, but Drive Club has been mired with just unfathomable, just essentially a completely broken network, which is unfortunate because it's undermining what is a very solid racing game over there. So these are major releases, and what haunts me about this and what troubles me is that these are the games with the biggest budgets and therefore the most resources, and we're still running. It's not that these are mid-tier games where it's like, oh, if only they'd had a few more bucks to kick in from daddy publisher, we could have, you know, this game would have been smoother. But these games almost, I don't want to say have no excuse, but it's if the AAA-est of the AAA can't get it right, that's a really saddening and terrifying thing for the future of AAA releases.
No matter what happens, like if you have a totally reasonable excuse for why your game doesn't work, it doesn't change the fact that your game doesn't work. Somebody paid money for it and they can't play it.
Right.
That sucks. That is unacceptable.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I mean, you know, I had tweets from a number of people who they took yesterday off, November 11th off, because it was like, I'm playing Halo 2 with all my old friends again, and they couldn't do it. Or they had such trouble. Yeah.
I tried joining up with you, and people are tweeting me, and they're like, oh, let's play. I'll join you and McCaffrey. And people can't connect, and the games don't work. And if they can connect, there's horrible lag, or they're dropped out.
Or I can't hear you.
Exactly.
Or you can't hear me.
The past few nights I've gone home and I don't have a lot of time because my commute is really long.
Just cried.
And I've just wasted my nights trying to play Halo and Call of Duty.
Right.
And those are both excellent games.
Back to Dota.
Exactly. That's where I went because it works right now.
Yeah, I mean, now let's talk specifically a little bit about each game. Vince, I think, Mitch, have you been keeping track of the Assassin's Creed? Marty, unfortunately, as I said at the top of the show, is out
loosely.
sick.
I'm not
he
totally
reviewed
familiar,
it,
but I know it's having a ton of frame rate issues. There's a bunch of animation bugs. People are falling through the world. Lots and lots of glitches that are straight up ruining the game for people. I don't think Marty experienced too much of that. I mean, he gave the game a 7.8,
I believe it was.
Yeah. So he enjoyed it quite a bit, but
not as good as Mario Kart Double Dash.
Dang. Or Imagine Babies, I think.
Was that also 7.9?
I think it was also 7.9.
Okay.
You guys.
Gotta know your IGN lore, man. Yeah, but it's having all sorts of technical issues that is really disappointing in a new, like the big new gen only Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of those horrifying screenshots of people with their faces missing?
Just like eyeballs and
you see their eyeballs and like parts of their
and some hair.
Their face is missing, but you can see like everything else. I saw an amazing tweet from somebody. I wish I knew who said it, so we could give them proper credit. But it was, I guess Ubisoft really does have trouble animating women.
I saw the same one.
It was Elise with just no face. Like,
that's so good.
That's
so good.
You know, and of course that game also had the double whammy of the review embargo for reviewers who who are provided a copy of the game ahead of time. So even though the game is out, we're sort of, because of, we are sort of obliged to respect that embargo we've agreed to because of the early access we were given. The review, we couldn't post our review until like the game had been out for, what was it, 9 hours?
12 hours.
12 hours. Yeah.
People could spend their money on that game for 12 hours.
Yes.
Right. And stream it with the button on their PlayStation 4 controller.
Yep. But we were bound.
To silence.
Which is so weird. Like, that benefits nobody. I don't understand that logic.
Yeah, it's an ongoing discussion that IGN has with Ubisoft and other publishers, and it's and we did through the whole process. So it's a whole thing that ultimately for us, we just want to get you guys the impressions of the game. That's what matters to us. But then so when we move over to Halo, which I'm reviewing, and the final review is still not up as we speak. We had planned the whole time to do review impressions because we wanted to evaluate the multiplayer servers in the real world, and this is exactly why. And the review is we will post it. The plan is to have it posted by end of day tomorrow, meaning the end of day Thursday, November
15th?
13th.
Tomorrow's the 13th.
13th.
Can't.
Today's the 12th.
Charging.
Correct. Yesterday was the 11th.
Okay.
That's how math, right?
That's how you math.
Yes, 13th.
So, and that review will reflect the state of the game at that time. Now, 343 has been good about issuing a lot of communications to fans through the Waypoint blog and saying, "Oh, we're deploying server-side fixes." So it's the matchmaking was basically not working, and it is slowly through their several updates they've done already working more and more now. But there are a lot of party issues when you're trying to game with your party. I'm having a lot of freezes. Like after matchmaking games, it goes to the loading screen to go kick you back to the lobby, and then it just hangs. The best solution if you can't connect, sometimes you just can't, you don't see your friends on your roster list. So It's like, well, hit the jewel button, quit, go back to the dashboard, quit the game, and then restart it, and then that's like the most reliable way to get it to work. So just not a smooth experience right now, and it's all very just disappointing. I mean, it's nothing that, with the Halo review, I'm not going to rake the game over the coals for it, because this stuff will be fixed in time. Is it going to, you hope it's not going to be, and you don't expect it to be a
Battlefield 4 situation.
Battlefield 4 situation where it goes on for a year, but you just never quite know. So it's there just comes a point where our policy here is we have to draw a line in the sand at some point. We'll give you those first 2 or 3 days to resolve any initial speed bumps, but then, hey, our readers are looking for our professional opinions on this game. We need a score out there. And there are a lot of factors that go into it. So tomorrow's the day for Halo, and I love the game. This doesn't impact the fact that the game is not working right now. But it takes what should be a celebration, and I mean it is a celebration, but it just takes what should be a complete joyous celebration, and it just, like you were saying, Brian, you spent your whole free time trying to connect, and you couldn't do it, and that celebration is ruined.
There's nothing worse than a game that does not respect your time. That's my biggest pet peeve, is that anytime a game wastes your time, whether it's like waiting in a lobby, doing nothing, not working, searching, matchmaking, whatever, or in a campaign, making you wait for a bunch of stuff. For similar reasons that I can't get into, the Far Cry 4 review will be late as well.
Okay.
Similar to what we did with Master Chief Collection, we will have a review in progress in time for the embargo on November 14th at 9 a.m. Pacific.
Oh, that's Friday morning.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll have a review in progress with most of my thoughts, most of what the review will be, no score, and no competitive multiplayer.
A lot of single-player thoughts for sure.
Time.
So if that's all, I mean, with full respect to Far Cry, I care about the campaign for that game.
Of course.
So,
but yeah, there is a multiplayer, and I don't want to overlook that. Especially based on what is happening with it on debug. So we will have a full scored review at earliest on launch day, November 18th.
Okay.
And then depending on how server stuff goes,
we
may, similar to Master Chief, give it a couple extra days.
Yeah.
But tentatively look for it on the 18th, the full scored review, and then the review in progress Friday.
Yeah, and this, I'm curious. I went on a little bit of started having some 140 character thoughts on this last night. I want to get your guys' thoughts here. I mean, this leads to a bigger discussion, but let's maybe touch on a little now. Is, with so many high-profile games, like I was saying, the ones with the most resources, the most amount of money, having significant troubles. It seems like that this new generation, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, is being marked more by problematic major launches than it is about great games. Now, not everybody's gotten it wrong. Titanfall, Their launch actually went great. Destiny, their launch went great. It's not everybody, but enough of these guys are having issues where it leads me to wonder. I'm not a game developer or a publisher, so I don't have a full understanding of what the process is and how it goes. But it seems to me that publishers and developers need to build in, like if Halo's got to be out by November 11th because it's Halo 2's anniversary, do we maybe need to, is the solution to this to build in more polish time, maybe at the expense of, well, I guess we've got to cut a feature or two, like maybe we can't have Forge or the theater until maybe we patch that in later.
Like Spartan Ops
you know
or something
what I mean?
Like that.
Well, Spartan Ops is already delayed till December.
Right.
That's not coming out.
I didn't even know they were adding it.
Yeah, that's already.
Okay.
I mean, it was promised from the beginning, and then they made the announcement that said, "Oh, Spartan Ops won't be till December."
Sure.
And if you ask my opinion, Spartan Ops is number one, the first thing you cut.
Yeah.
Mitch and I, you and I played and reviewed all of Spartan Ops when Halo 4 came out, and you and I are not fans of it.
I've seen stuff, man.
I've seen some things. But it feels like, I don't know if that's the solution. Do you have to build in more polish time at the expense of a feature or two? I don't know.
I think what's been sacrificed is, and I kind of went crazy on Twitter about this a few nights ago, but that feeling of following a game up to, previews every, the old day it was like, here's these screenshots. Now it's like, here's all these trailers and things. And you come up to launch night and you're like, yes, just let me play this game. Like, that experience is going away of you getting home with the game and you're like, put it in your console and you sit down and you just play until you fall asleep.
Right. The catharsis, like the cathartic release of I have it, is now mired with day one updates and system software patches.
Oh, I'm waiting hours for this 20 gigabyte update to finish.
Installing the game, updating the game, having multiplayer server issues, going to bed sad.
Pretty much all of these games we talked about
PC gaming is invading consoles, you guys.
Welcome to the future.
The games we talked about are or did become great games worth playing, but not for a while.
Right.
A few weeks to months to several months if it's like Battlefield 4.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know I'd like to talk to a developer on this and
I would
specifically
love to
find out more. Like, hey, realistically, like what would have to be cut from this game if you wanted to add in 2 months of polish time?
And realistically, like if you cut Forge, could the people who implemented Forge conceivably improve the things that are broken now? Like, are those resources available?
That's
to
a fair question.
Contribute to the problems.
That's a fair question.
Maybe there just aren't enough people. So,
and the question, because cryptic or what's the word I'm looking for?
Let's start with
the evil way to look at it would be, well, publishers don't care. If they can sell the same amount of copies and just fix it after it's released, they're just going to keep doing what they do.
Right. You're looking for cynical?
That's it. Cynical. Okay. Yeah. So, I don't want to, because I don't think publishers, I like to think that the world is good enough where publishers aren't actively thinking that way. Like, oh, forget it, just ship it. We'll fix it in patches as we go.
Because nobody wants to ship a broken bad game.
Right. But there does come a point where if this keeps happening, what are our options? The options are stop pre-ordering games, stop buying games on day one. And that's where I suppose, is that the only way for the message to really come through? Because you can be as vocal as you want on a forum or a community, but at the end of the day, is that for some publishers and developers, that probably is enough. They're probably like, well, gee, boy, our fans are really being vocal on our forums and such here. We need to do better. But I don't know. Maybe some publishers are just like, oh yeah, there's this 5% of people that are angry over here, but day one sales are good, so business as usual. I don't know. I like to hope that it's not that way. But at the end of it, but yeah, there does come a point where maybe you stop pre-ordering games or stop buying them on day one and just wait.
We talk about this a lot. If you are worried about a game not working or having problems with it or wondering if your pre-order is worth it, wait for the reviews. Like, just wait. Wait till launch day. Wait till reviews come out.
And you don't say that because we're in the business of
I
game
wait
reviews.
for reviews for a lot of movies. Like, I was like, oh man, like I'm really worried the Interstellar is not going to be able to live up to the hype. And the reviews came out. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like just wait for it to come out and then see what people are saying in the reviews and see what people are saying on Twitter too. Because I want to clear up some muddy water here. I reviewed Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare for IGN.
Yeah.
Thought that game was amazing. 9.1. We held off on the embargo because we wanted to see if the multiplayer worked.
Sure.
So the Day Zero edition came out, which was like the first launch.
Right.
We waited. We played that day. And then the actual launch was on the 4th. And then the review went up about halfway through the 4th.
Right.
Up until that point, everything I had played was awesome.
You played on real-world servers. You had a good experience.
There was a little bit of lag, but it was just a little bit here and there, and it was nothing out of the ordinary that I wouldn't just be like, okay, I'm on the internet playing games. But then after a few days, and people, like millions of people, started dogpiling on, the servers went to crap. In which case, the news about the game, or the status of the game, came through news rather than the review.
Yeah.
So what I'm just saying is, follow, it kind of sounds really promotional now, but like, go to places like IGN. We will update you.
I mean,
we'll talk about it in the
We'll
news.
slog through it so you don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, Vince and I were talking about this at lunch today. Like, every game now is a platform. It doesn't just launch and that's it. There is a life cycle to it that extends over years. And a review isn't the end of what a game is. Like, you have to keep following it to know, like, oh man, like they're taking Destiny servers offline tomorrow for 3-4 hours. I need to be aware of that.
Yeah, Vince did an excellent job with our Destiny review, but if you wanted to know like what's going on right now, that's like a news thing.
Yeah. Right. Now, it was pointed out to me repeatedly on Twitter when I was tweeting some of these thoughts last night, and it is fair to say, I mean, Nintendo I think is largely exempt from all this. They have been very good about shipping polished games. Now, the one counter to that,
faults,
their games typically are not reliant on online functionality.
Yeah.
The way that a lot of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games are.
Their grand plan is revealed.
Yeah. Well, Smash will be the interesting test case for this one.
That's true.
Like, if Smash has a bad launch, that sucks. That super sucks.
Well, that'd just be a day where all of us just shed a single tear for the video game industry.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah, it was supposed to be you.
You are my brother.
I loved you. But
one thing, do you remember the line from that movie where Obi-Wan goes, Anakin, Palpatine is evil, and then he goes, from my perspective, the Jedi are evil. It's so bad.
Also, no, I don't, because I've blocked all of that out.
Oh, no, it's so deliciously bad. He's holding me back. Yeah, throw a lightsaber at a wall. Like, get over yourself, you child idiot.
Whoa.
He's the worst.
He's an adult somewhere now, and he doesn't appreciate that.
He is so bad.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so we could talk about... This could be a whole show, really.
Yeah.
Although it's been half a show. But yeah, we'll get... I feel like I really... What I want to do, seriously, is if I ever get time, which is a difficult thing to come by around here with all the projects going on, but this merits, I think, an opinion article, an op-ed or a feature story that can really dig into this.
Y'all got thoughts?
And maybe talk to some industry insiders who can remain anonymous about what it is like from their side. It's like, there are probably realities that we don't know about.
I'm sure there was probably publisher pressure to be out before the holidays.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I think actually, Brian, that's a good point to end on. I think is we did see some major games delay. We saw Watch Dogs
was delayed today.
Correct. Watch Dogs was delayed out of next gen launch last holiday to what? April, was it this year? Or May? One of those two.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
And it seems to have, there was that whole downgrade thing, but as far as the game seemed to work fine when it came out. Mm-hmm. But now you've got Evolve delayed, Battlefield Hardline delayed, which, by the way, Battlefield, I'll just throw in a quick plug, tomorrow, or Thursday, so possibly by the time you even hear this show, we got to play the single player for the first time, and we have a extensive written and video preview with direct feed gameplay footage. I would highly recommend checking that out because it's a very different Battlefield than you're used to. So Evolve, Battlefield, and then Batman delayed.
I forgot about that.
Even Dragon Age got delayed a month.
Dragon Age had been pushed back a month, and I guess there is.
The Crew's been delayed for 10 years.
The Crew is maybe out in December. We'll see. But
one more delay coming up.
It'll be interesting to see if games like Evolve and Battlefield and Batman, who were supposed to be holiday games but got delayed.
The Witcher.
True. Did they ever announce for holiday though?
They said 2014.
Okay, well, then that's a good one too.
Sure.
Although again, not a lot of online functionality there, but nevertheless, will those have the polish that we're looking for?
If that extra 3-4 months, that little bump gives them enough time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. If they build, if then that's maybe indicative of, is this a systemic problem of not building in that polish time, or was it just the holidays that sort of screwed everything, or what? But time will tell.
Yeah.